put it in StreamYard, it
We,
goes up.
we
Hey,
should
everybody.
talk about our.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, we're.
Talk about stuff. We're live.
We were. Chuck hit the start button before.
I did. I just, normally it takes 5 minutes to go live, but it kind of went live.
All right. Well, we're here. We're live.
But I think we need to lead with the big news today, and this is United Litigation. Fantastic news. But how this came about, the backstory is just as interesting as the outcome for Uniting for Ukraine. Because first of all, it's not over, but the backstory is interesting. Of course, we, Greg and I and Aaron have been talking to immigration through our webcasts and through our Twitters, and even directly at some point through Greg about this idea that they were literally breaking the law. They're illegally collecting money from these people for at least 2 months before we filed, and they just blew us off. We were trying to do what Urge to Do said. Please talk to us. Why sue us? So they blew us off. So we sued them. And a couple of weeks later, we filed a preliminary injunction, which generally requires an immediate reply. But the government, they said, wait a second. In September, let's talk. Can you hold on? So we agreed. We agreed to talk. And they didn't do a lot of talking. They did a lot of chit-chatting, but they didn't do a lot of talking. And they ultimately, after... like the judge got a little restless, and we updated the course to try to work it out. They did file stuff to extend it when we opposed it in early November, just to try to work it out. And so we tried to work it out. Finally told the judge, you're not working it out. They clearly are now making a decision. This happened, about a week ago, guys? About a week ago?
Right. So they had a deadline last Wednesday, and we told the judge we're done discussing with them because they're not moving anywhere in the negotiation with us.
Which the deadline they blew, by the way.
Yeah,
they blew their deadline. They did not file.
They got lucky that the judge basically forgave him for that. But he did he filed something yesterday, basically saying it's okay, I'm reaching my limit here, and within probably an hour of that, that's when they posted their announcement.
Which, oddly enough, you can find nowhere on their website. Apparently,
it's in I-9. It's in I-9 Central.
Is it there now? Because somebody couldn't find it.
Yes.
So.
I got the language that they put into I-9 Central by email today. I didn't look on the website, but they have been emailing it out pretty broadly.
Well, if somebody couldn't find it earlier on one of our listservs, so they came out and they said, "Look, you're right. From now on, Ukrainians." And Greg, Afghans.
Yes.
Because we missed that one, didn't we?
I'll tell you a backstory on that in a second, too.
So Ukrainians and Afghans are now employable, incident to status, and they're required to show an employer within 90 days of entry, at either an employment card, which is free now. They're not going to charge for these anymore. Or a Social Security card. Now, people say, well, immigration's taking 9 months to issue cards. Well, that's okay, because they should be able to get a Social Security card. Is that right, Greg?
Yeah. So here's so everything that they posted, people may say, this is really strange. I don't know why did they do it this way? They did it the way they did it because that is precisely how they do it for refugees. So refugees, when they come into the U.S., they get an I-94 that says on there, I-94, I don't know what the initials are, probably RE, but basically it identifies them as a refugee. They can use that to start work immediately, and then they are expected, for I-9 purposes, they're expected to show either an unrestricted Social Security card or an EAD card, and they get 90 days to do that. What I did yesterday in the course of my reasoning, the first thing that occurred to me is well, great. This doesn't solve the problem if they have to get an EAD card. First, I thought it was only a receipt, and I was incorrect about that. On there, they need an actual card, but the unrestricted Social Security card, my initial assumption was that this doesn't help us because Social Security cards, unrestricted Social Security cards, only go to citizens and permanent residents. Not so.
Not so.
Not so. So if you go onto their website for Social Security Administration, it says unrestricted is only for permanent residents and citizens. And then if you're on like a non-immigrant visa, they give you a different one that says it's valid only for use with that when it's paired up with that. And then they have a third one that says not authorized for employment at all on there. And that's like if you need it for a bank account or something like that. They don't do that very often. But when I did some further research, I found out that for refugees, they have in their sort of employee training manual, it says, we treat refugees as permanent residents and we give them unrestricted Social Security cards. They don't say that on the main page of their site, but what that means is that that's a refugee benefit, just like the other benefits that we, everything else, just like in automatic work authorization. So Social Security Administration should give an unrestricted Social Security card to those that benefit from our lawsuit. We are trying to confirm that. We're getting some help from some of the folks at AOA that are trying to help us with their contacts at SSA. We will sue the Social Security Administration. I hope somebody from USCIS or Social Security Administration is listening. If they decide to play games here and not issue unrestricted Social Security cards to people that are beneficiaries of the suit, we will sue the Social Security Administration. I can promise you that. But I'm pretty sure they're going to do the right thing and do this. But that is so it shouldn't matter about whether they get an EAD or not. Now, if you get a Social Security card that's unrestricted, that's a List C document for I-9 purposes so that you can work. You still need to have an identification document. Once you get your Social Security card, you can either get a driver's license or you can get a state ID in every state that you should be able to do that. So if you're not capable of driving, you should still be able to get something that looks like a driver's license that's acceptable for work purposes. That's just an identification document. You'll just need your passport or some other document that proves who you are. But that's how you can do it if you don't want to wait on the employment card. That's how most people will probably end up doing it in the end.
So this is fantastic news. And of course, they filed with the court a notice. This is a notice. It's not a response to anything. And I think it's like, please, judge, don't rule against us before we can reply to what we should have done 2 months ago to the PI. Right. Now, right. The key thing, though, Greg, in this is, I don't know if you read at the very bottom of the press release, we're keeping your money.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't there.
They could say that. But they can imply that. They implied that, but they didn't say that. But so the good news on this for us is that was one of the holdups that the government was using to, not do this. They were asking us, it's like, you need to, we'll do this.
But you have about settlement negotiations. So
what's that? All right, I won't talk about that.
Yeah. But so basically, they say they're keeping the money.
Right. But I can assure you that is not
keeping the money.
They're not keeping the money. We are holding firm on that.
So we will still see them in court somewhere sometime.
Yes.
And now we're going
to have Afghans in our suit too.
Right. So if you have Afghan clients that would like their money back.
Yeah, let me tell you the story on that. We were ignorant on this until I spoke at a conference in New Orleans, and Michael Tarancic, really great lawyer who's now at AOA, was on a panel, and he was talking about the fact that they get refugee benefits on there, and that they've been getting refugee benefits, and that sounds very familiar. Why are Afghan parolees getting refugee benefits? And I was talking to him afterwards, and he told me about a section of a law that passed in September 2021. So it's actually been in force for about 14 months, and it's about to be extended again. But that was or it just got extended briefly, and it's going to probably be extended again. That statute looks identical to the Ukrainian. So we weren't aware of that, but in the course of researching this, and I actually had to go back through the Wayback Machine to kind of see how they were discussing this. But they have been charging Afghans that I-765 fee all along also until yesterday. So it's almost exactly the same statute. So we're looking for some Afghan plaintiffs that we can add to.
Cost for nothing. We're not charging the Afghan folks. It's free to them. So
if anybody, any lawyers watching this, anybody who's involved with this, if you have an Afghan client who didn't get a fee waiver and paid that $410 I-765 fee for parole, not for, not if they are seeking asylum. We're not talking about I-765s for the asylees. We're talking about it for people in parole status that sought that. We would love to add a group of Afghans to our case. So please let us know if you are in that situation or if you know somebody who is.
So we'll be adding that. So that's our Unite for Ukraine. That is fantastic information. We're so, gosh, litigation works. What can I tell you? Litigation works. So what else is going on? I want to talk briefly and everyone about our EAD litigation, not our EAD litigation,
the wastage,
our EB2, EB3, visa wastage litigation, volume 3, section 3.
Can you put a banner up? Sorry.
Oh yeah, let me do that. We've kind of been onboarding this for a couple months. We're really waiting for the December visible, get through that first quarter and see where things are. And obviously, they are clearly breaking the law. We get that. But we don't have enough plaintiffs yet. We need more plaintiffs in this litigation to make this physically to be able to do it. And so if you're in this litigation and, you need to help us get some other plaintiffs, I feel confident about this case. I think the law is clear that extra 60,000 that is not subject to the per country limit, and they are making it subject to per their own admission on their own website. They're making it subject to that, and that's basically 60,000 Indian nationals who are not getting green cards this year. Because if that's subject to the 7% limit, they're only going to get a few hundred of them. That's all they're going to do, and you're going to see immigration putting out ads in the summertime. Hey, apply for EB2s, apply for EB. You're going to see that. So, this is the chance that we have to go after them. And I don't think we're going to see overflow next year. This is one way to get that message home. So, that's where we are.
Hopefully we'll get some more plaintiffs soon. I mean, we definitely want to proceed with this case. We have but it has to be viable. And we will we'll hopefully see some response shortly.
Yeah, that would be good. So that's where we are in that. On the EB5 Jane I-526 case, I have talked to the government. I told her that her discovery is useless. I urged her to file a faster motion for summary judgment because she has to file the first one if we're not going to file. She's not required to file it until February 1. I don't know if they'll file it before February 1. Can't make them go any faster. But we're going to file with the court at the end of December to say, look, we can't file. We'll be doing what's called 56E discovery. We've also gotten some great information from a couple of our clients about how they're just skipping people. They're skipping tons of people, just moving in line. There's no order or sense or rhyme or reason to any of this. So we're on top of it. It's going it's a little bit slower than we would have hoped, but that's kind of where we are with the process. I think we need to talk briefly about our I-601 litigation. This is we're partnering in this. Is that right, Greg?
Yes. So that is I guess as soon as Kirby signs the document, hopefully that'll be today.
Is Kirby is Kirby in Argentina?
Yeah, tough place to be this morning.
Oh my God.
I saw a picture today.
So sad. Yeah, I have family in Argentina. I always pull for them. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? But we are partnering in this litigation, the 601A litigation, and Chuck, we can explain in a second what a 601A is, just for people who may not be aware. But we're excited to be partnering with both the American Immigration Council and AILA, American Immigration Lawyers Association, on a delay case that is really pretty egregious what's been going on at USCIS. But basically the way a 601A is an application that if somebody has they have a status violation that causes them potentially to be subject to a 3 or a 10-year bar, they can get it's for spouses of U.S. citizens mostly, but there's some others. I guess it's also children also of U.S. citizens potentially can get it. But anyway, they file for this waiver of the bar, and they can do it from within the United States. And then the family can be anyway. That used to be something that would take 4 to 6 months for that application a couple years ago, and now it is closer to 2.5 to 3 years. And it's keeping families separated. It's causing financial hardships because people can't work legally. Lots of issues there, and it's been a big problem that most immigration lawyers have been complaining about it, and USCIS hasn't been doing anything about it. So we're getting ready to.
Oh no, Greg, they have been doing something about it. They keep making the delays longer. I mean, they've been doing the exact opposite of things.
Yeah, so I know lawyers sometimes tune into this broadcast, especially through LinkedIn. I know that you're sending it over to my LinkedIn. If you are a lawyer that has clients and have 601A cases, be on the lookout for information, but contact us and we will help you out.
Yeah, we tried to make this very affordable. We know how hard it is for families. I mean, my own firm, we have dozens, maybe 100 of these cases pending. Darren's probably the same way, but it's unconscionable to go from 4 to 6 months as a historic norm, even under Trump, by the way. This is the weirdly enough, the one thing I thought Trump would definitely do away with, and they didn't, and they just kept processing them. And then under Biden, processing has essentially, in fact, right now, there is no case filed while Biden has been president that's been adjudicated. None.
Yeah.
None.
Not great.
Because they're at 30 months. There's none. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Wow.
I thought they said that they were going to be, by the end of the year, fully staffed again.
The end of the year was last month.
No, I thought Urs said it was going to be at the end of the calendar year. Anyway, everything should be getting faster because of all these people that they've apparently hired, but I don't know.
I know one note just came out today, just as an aside, that the Department of State has 70 consulates around the world that are not processing immigrant visas for employment. Just FYI. Just FYI. All right, just a couple other things. We have the visa fee, CEVIS litigation sign up if you're interested in getting your money back that you paid to the consulate. That it doesn't cost you anything. It's on a contingency. If we get it, we get it.
Yeah.
So, you paid money to the consulate, never had an interview.
You could just go to IMMPAct Litigation and sign up on that one. And when we eventually get enough plaintiffs, we'll see.
Yeah, we go there. And then we have the advanced parole and EAD litigation. This is round 2 on the EAD. Advanced parole still, it's just crazy to me. I was looking yesterday at the government's fake website on their fake processing times. If you're going to lie, why don't you lie in your own favor? Maybe that's what they're doing. They're literally saying things are taking forever when sometimes they're not. And
maybe that's what they should just say is when they ask for the processing time, just say forever.
We don't know. Or just what we don't know. Or as a teenager,
if you have to ask,
as my teenage son used to say, whatever.
Yeah.
It's whatever. That's what it is. So those are there. They're there for sign up, and we'd love to have you guys roll. A few questions today. We got Ash. What is the future of the H-1B? That's a great question. I'm ready to be bamboozled. One of my favorite words, by the way, bamboozled. We're going to work it into a complaint at some point. But this is something we'll obviously need to explore. We were told last year that the government was going to do something about this issue. And even with the looming recession, gentlemen, do you expect less than 500,000 applicants this year? I don't know. They're still graduating tons of people.
Yeah, it's going to still be bad. They still haven't solved the problem that we sued over. And, I don't know if I haven't even heard a proposal of how they're going to solve
nothing.
The problem.
It's not on the regulatory agenda. There's no policy. I almost want to, maybe I should reach out to government counsel that was on that case with us and say, you know what? We're thinking about another suit on this because, we really didn't get a resolution last year.
Yeah. maybe like an equal protection thing for the company,
Yeah.
the U.S. employers that are not getting access to the
That's an
program.
interesting approach. Interesting approach. All right, so that's kind of out there, Ash. The H-1B has its problems for sure. It's an essential visa, though. The idea that people want to get rid of it is stupid. Clearly, we need to expand it. Really, what we need to do. Why are Republicans so afraid of Donald Trump? I don't know. Classic.
Yeah, waiting for that third party bid.
Oh, Greg, we will never have a third party in America.
No, I'm talking about Trump's third party.
Oh yeah, well that
if he doesn't get the nomination, he is not going quietly. It's either going to be Trump as the Republican nominee or Trump destroying the Republican nominee.
I actually thought when he announced, I thought that he was going to announce that he was running under a new MAGA party, so that he didn't have to deal with the primaries.
The thing is, if Republicans stupidly have 40 guys and gals running for president, he will get the nomination because the GOP is a winner-take-all primary system. You get 20% of the votes and nobody else got 20. You get them all. I mean, remember, keep in mind, in the primaries in 2016, Trump only got total 30% of the delegates. 30% of the votes in the primaries. 30%. That's all he got. So there's that. I don't know. Hector Navarro, I am rest of the world. Current EB2 pending. Claim they don't have visas at the moment. There's visas.
There's visas.
I mean, part of it's retrogress, but they only retrogressed to November. So I don't know what you're talking about. And in November, everybody's.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty unusual for a rest of world person in EB2 to have a priority date that would be after what they listed, because it would basically be only people that filed for a national
November 1. It's November 1, 2022 in December. There's only retrogress 1 month. Why did that happen? Because
but it would basically be only people that were filing like an NIW or something where they didn't have an underlying perm application.
Right. But it's only retrogressed a month. So if his EB2 is pending, it's current. I mean, if it's current, I don't understand I don't understand what you're saying. This doesn't make any sense.
All right, Hector.
Hector, you got to clarify that, my friend. Joe! Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Gomez case will win. We're interviewing a bunch of Russians. Well, basically, as we said, Aaron, how many times? Next year is when you're going to hear from the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, probably January, February, March. But if we do win, and I believe we will win, and Russians, they'll figure out something. Hopefully, we don't know what they're going to do. They haven't explained that to us. The case will be remanded to Judge Mehta, and I believe at that point we'll have a fair discussion for everybody as part of it. Hector, that's what he's claiming on the case status. I would love for you to put up a screenshot of whatever you're talking about, because if they're in their screenshot, they're saying your adjustment of status priority date's not current. Visas, it doesn't make. I've never seen that. You guys, you ever seen that? I've never seen that.
Mm.
No idea. That's worthy of a consultation with one of these fine lawyers here. And if your current lawyer can't figure that out.
Interesting.
That's interesting. All right. It's been great to see everybody. Tomorrow, this week is Thanksgiving. Greg, there was a couple of things before we go. There's two interesting articles that came out today. One in Politico, one in the Wall Street Journal.
The Journal.
The Wall Street Journal says the hidden consensus on immigration.
Yeah.
The political article is immigration's dead in Congress. How can they both be true? Because it's so hidden that you can't find it. That's how hidden the consensus is on immigration.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Republicans usually, when they have a bad election, they'll cast about and try, and then they sound reasonable for about 5 minutes, and then they go back to their ways of on immigration in particular. I do think we have a shot at getting a couple of minor things, not minor to the people that are affected, but minor in the grand scheme of things, done in the lame duck. I do think that there is support for an Afghan Adjustment Act, and I think that they were just waiting until after the election on that. There are enough Republicans. There are 10
Republicans to support that. I think so.
Yeah, so that's fairly bipartisan. I would love to see healthcare nurses and doctors, because there is a bipartisan bill that has 14 Republican senators that are co-sponsoring that adds about 80,000 green cards to the mix, which would
Has that passed the House yet, or is that still up in the air in the House?
It hasn't passed either house yet, but it does have 26. It has 28 co-sponsors in the Senate, and half are Republicans on there. So it is very bipartisan. It's good legislation. It would help a lot with the Indian backlog community, because even though it's benefiting doctors, it takes 80,000 people out of the line.
Many of whom are Indian doctors. So
Right, but it moves everybody up.
Yeah,
everybody. Take those spaces. So even though people that might say, "Why are doctors benefiting?" I'm important too. On there, you get helps indirectly. So there are some things that might. I mean, the DREAM Act, I'm not so optimistic. But maybe they could do something that is very narrow. The Republicans have in the past backed legislation that essentially codifies DACA, doesn't do anything else. Well, I understand that, but it's not no green cards, nothing other than just basically providing taking it out of the courts.
No,
on there.
The good news is
that is a placeholder.
If the Republicans are effective in the House, they may actually find the consensus on immigration on Hunter Biden's laptop. It may actually be there.
It's all true.
It may be there. It's true. It may be there on Hunter Biden's laptop. That's one of the funniest. This is going to go down as one of the great memes of all time when they finally have memes on Hunter Biden's laptop. Yeah, I know we just won an election on fixing inflation and unemployment and making America great again, but we're going to spend 99% of our time talking about Hunter Biden's laptop. So that's
assuming they can find a speaker.
Can you imagine Kevin McCarthy going around just lapdogging everybody's butt, trying to please vote for me, please vote for me?
It does. I do not see that guy getting 218
He's
votes.
Such a weasel. Dude is such a weasel.
I don't think he can do it. And once he can't get to that, then
Donald Trump. It's a natural choice. Donald Trump is the Speaker of the House.
Well, you got to get 218 votes. I think that means that Democrats get to pick, because they will pick a Republican.
Well, there's already one Republican that said he would vote with the Dems. There's already one.
Yeah, but honestly, it's probably going to be Liz Cheney or somebody like that. Somebody that would be it has to be a Republican speaker, but you don't get to be the speaker without Democrats voting for you. So they're going to have to find some kind of consensus person.
There are several Republicans that would be acceptable to Democrats.
Larry Hogan, governor of Maryland.
Love Larry.
Be the speaker or somebody like that.
Would be great.
Republican. It has to be a Republican, but it has to be somebody Democrats like. And the Democrats could find 5 or 10 Republicans probably on somebody. If they can find some normal Republican out there, there are 5 to 10 Republicans out there that would probably go with the Democrats. So we're not hearing about that. The Republicans get to go first, but we'll see.
Well, it should be fun. So this week's Thanksgiving. Hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving week. Next week is...
next week, I will be in Paris, France, speaking at a conference.
And I will be in New York speaking at a conference. So I don't think we're going to be on next week.
I will probably not be here next week. And then the following, hopefully I will be here, but I will be in Las Vegas at another conference. But that one is at least on normal time. And I'm speaking on Monday on that conference. So I should be able to step out and participate.
I'll be flying back from Munich the following Tuesday. So I will not be on that.
So Aaron,
it's going to be in your court, Aaron.
And
Anyway, you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you in a second. Don't leave. And we'll say goodbye to our audience now. See you guys later.
Happy Thanksgiving all.